welcome. This is the Anne Bradstreet Poetry Contest Awards celebration. The Anne Bradstreet celebration that we had in May on the Common is the 5th. So we decided, gee, we've gone through 5 years of this and it was wonderful every year. So we decided to really do something special this year and introduce our program. Welcome to the Valley of the Poets. Do you know why it is called the Valley of the Poets? There are poets here. We have shy, quiet, never been published poets. We have famous poets the world knows, and we have everything in between. A member of one founding family of Andover Parish, which is now called North Andover, was Anne Bradstreet. Anne Bradstreet became the first female published poet from the New World in 1650, and she helped to found our town. She was a very busy lady with 8 children. I can't even begin. Well, never mind. Her poetry celebrates nature, crickets, grasshoppers, you name it. She loved small, little, tiny things. Here's one small little vignette from one of her contemplations. I heard the merry grasshopper sing. The black-clad cricket bears a second part. They kept one tune and played on the same string, seeming to glory in their little art. We have had Poets Laureate in our town since 2006 to celebrate Anne, but to also celebrate other poets from this Valley of the Poets. We have John Greenleaf Whittier from Haverhill. We have Harriet Beecher Stowe, which people usually don't think of her at all as a poet. She was, and she lived in Andover in the Phillips Andover grounds, and Phillips Academy Andover grounds, and she's buried there. And also, the favorite poet from America, usually said, Robert Frost from Lawrence. He was raised there, and he had a lot of information from Lawrence that came into his poetry. And we have Mark here to tell us a little bit more about why we have a Poet Laureate and what we do as Poets Laureate.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Bohrer. I'm the past Poet Laureate of North Andover. And I was able to be Poet Laureate of North Andover because Karen was instrumental in creating the Poet Laureate position as a member of the volunteer boards of the town. So North Andover is one of the number of towns in Massachusetts that have town poet laureates. And I served from 2018 to 2023. And you might ask, what is a poet laureate? What does a poet laureate do? Well, in simple terms, the poet laureate has a job to foster poetry and poetic expression in the town. And I expand that a little bit, as inspired by Karen, to make sure it includes all ages. And so the events that I do and that I play a role in are done that way, so that it encourages everyone to take part and express poetry.
Even animals.
That's right. We've had many events. So I've hosted monthly poetry events over the years in town, both indoors, for example, at Stevens Memorial Library and at the North Andover Historical Society, outdoors at the Stevens Estate at Osgood Hill, and also the Anne Bradstreet Poetry Contest on the town common, and then sometimes in unusual places, for example, like Bulger Animal Hospital, or at Good Day Cafe in the East Mill, places like that. Poetry can pop up in different places. So it's a lot of fun, and it brings people together, and it builds our community. And that's one of the great things.
That's one of the big things we do is build community. We really do.
All right.
Yes, and when you think of a poet, it doesn't have to be a person who's just writing poetry. We want people who are interested in going out and talking to the people, going to the schools, and having events that really excite people to maybe try it.
Right.
If you've ever written a poem, you can write more.
Right.
Remember that.
And that's the thing that we wanted to invite people to do. There are currently a couple of openings on the Poet Laureate Committee.
Mm-hmm.
The Poet Laureate Committee in town supports the work that the Poet Laureate does.
Right.
We also have an opening as Poet Laureate. I'm a past Poet Laureate, but the position itself is open right now. And so we wanted to invite everyone who might be interested, might like to be involved in poetry and the arts in town, to contact either myself or Karen.
Mm-hmm. Or the town hall.
Or through the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the town website, you can get information on the Poet Laureate Committee and the Poet Laureate. Or drop us an email at annbradstreetpoetrycontest@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we will see it.
Right. Or go to the website annbradstreetpoetrycontest.com.
.com. You have to be over 18.
To be on the board.
Yes, to be member of the board or to be a poet laureate. So I think that is pretty much what we wanted to spread. We wanted to spread the word of how wonderful it is. It's exciting for the person doing it, and it's really exciting for the children. I've seen the children, and you're going to see them again now with this presentation. The show is delightful. We got it in between rain clouds. We had no idea if we would have enough time without being sort of drenched. And we weren't. We made it through, and I think everyone in the audience loved it. They really did. So thank you so much, and we will see you again, and enjoy the show.
There you go, there you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Anne Bradstreet Poetry Contest Awards Celebration. Thank you. Welcome to North Andover Town Common. Welcome to a beautiful summery day. And we're going to hear some great poetry today. I can tell you that the judges, by the way, my name is Mark Bohrer. I'm past Poet Laureate of North Andover, and I was contest coordinator this year. I can tell you that not only for myself, reading as just someone who organized the poems, that the judges really enjoyed reading the poems, all the poems that were submitted this year. We had over 80 poems submitted, and they selected 18. And I can tell you there were not only 18 special poems, but there were just a whole raft of wonderful poetry submitted this year. So even the ones that weren't selected, there were some special poems in that group also that the judges really appreciated and enjoyed. And the theme this year is growing our community, planting seeds of poetry. And what we did this year is we reached out to the schools and the people of Andover, and we got a response. And it happened that we have some poems from students at the Pike School who were selected among the award winners this year. So we're expanding the town, actually back to its original Andover, all of Andover, to take part in the poetry contest. And so in the program, we're going to shift things around a little bit. After we get going, we're going to do the winner of the adult category, and then we're going to move grades 3 through 5 and K through 2 to follow that poem. So I'll be calling them up once we get started, okay? So shifting things around, same order, but moving those groups up, okay? And the other thing to let you know is that there are a few people who were not able to be here today, but nonetheless, all the poems that were selected as award winners are going to be performed today. So everyone's poem will be heard. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So members of the committee are going to fill in for the students that couldn't be here. And actually, I think in the case of a couple of the adult poems, they sent representatives to do the reading. I'm looking at one right now. All right, I would like to start with a poem that I wrote a few years ago. And I had the honor of reading this when I was named as Poet Laureate of the town. And you go before the select board. It's a very rigorous process. I want you to know that. And I passed the test. Actually, the Poet Laureate Committee, one of their main jobs is to select the town poet laureate and to support the town poet laureate and other poetry activities in the town. So the Poet Laureate Committee had asked if I would like to serve as Poet Laureate, and they made the recommendation to the Select Board. And at the official process where the Select Board confirms that, I read this poem, and I wrote it for that occasion, and it's about the history of North Andover. And the poem has I have a little intro for it that is in the book. I wrote it for those who were here before, for those around now, and for those who will be here later. The title of it is A Good Inland Town, and I borrowed it affectionately from the book of the same name, A Good Inland Town, Buildings and Landscapes in North Andover from 1640 to 1940, by Stephen J. Roper, photographs by Gayton Osgood, and is published by the North Andover Historical Society. So if you want to learn something about the history of North Andover, go to the Historical Society bookshop and you can pick up a copy. Wonderful stories and pictures of the buildings in this town and the history of both. A Good Inland Town. In August 1702, Judge Samuel Sewall wrote about his travels to Andover, what is current-day Andover and North Andover, and he wrote in his diary, I rid with Mr. Woodhouse and Smith to Andover, a good inland town and of a good prospect. A good inland town. She shares her name with her British twin, but no ruler here wears the crown, for we are home of the citizen king. Her citizens, now or years ago, famous or not yet so, share in her renown. From strands of bell, bronze, and maker, from mother, muse, and meter, from wool and woven time, from service made sublime, from these we make our rhyme. A.B., the poet, you know her name. She walked to the meeting house, that first simple frame. With words, her soul did search, and thus made poetry her church. Simon, the well-known man, the Mass Bay governor, was her spouse. Yet today, the greater fame Anne commands. In 1806, Revere and Son poured the bell, lifted high in the fourth steeple by Captains Johnson and Stevens. In 1836, in the new fifth meeting house soon it would dwell. When the church was the town, it called from its tower. These tones still carry over tree, town, and common, but for all people now, it keeps the same hours. The 19th century mills were cut whole cloth from New England's ingenious habit and spirit, but it was the men of North Andover who made the Stevens mills, with Davis and Ferber as the ratchet and sprocket. In this yarn about wool, from the corner of Water and High Streets, D&F sent machines to weave their twill to every state and to the world. In the rhythm and thrum of the mills, these men were the heartbeat. To America and to the world, women and men from this town went forth to serve. Women and men heard freedom's word. They saw a common foe and risked their lives to fight it. They saw a wrong and tried to right it. And those who paid with limb or life, their families and townspeople still observe. What these men and women gave, may we honor it. In a good inland town, history is not done. Time offers more renown. No final bell has rung. Her story is still young. Those who serve the town, in public place or private space, serve it well, if one must tell, when history and common good are the guide. Then we may go on to say that in a good inland town, and in America today, the voice of the citizen has not died. Thank you. Karen, I actually have you here with some opening words. Do you want to say something, or should we go forward? You do the closing? Okay, good. And get your poem ready. It's an inside story, though. You'll find out. It's coming up. I would like to call up Charlotte Salois. Charlotte Salois is going to read the winning poem in the adult category, written by Vincent Spada, and it's titled Planting Seeds of Poetry. And while she's coming up, I'd like to invite the award winners in grades 3 through 5. If you could come up to the side of the stage over here and wait. You can wait in the shade so you don't get too warm. So if we could have Navin Nair and Valentina Lush, and Eric, I believe, is not here. Eric Magnuson and Hugo Coling. We're going to read their poems unless they're here. Ben Korrick and Charles Bohenick, if you could come up, and Brennan Jenkins too, and we'll be ready to go. All right. This is the poem Planting Seeds of Poetry by Vincent Spada, the adult winner.
Planting Seeds of Poetry. Keats within the garden, Yeats on windowsill, planting seeds of poetry for hearts and minds to fill. Angelou amidst the lilac, Longfellow by the glade, planting seeds of poetry for works yet to be made. Frost amongst the grasses, Whitman near the shed, planting seeds of poetry sown sweetly thread by thread. Dickinson with the tulips, Wordsworth mixed with soil, planting seeds of poetry that passions quickly boil. Hughes found in the thicket, Blake heard along the road, planting seeds of poetry in places dreams abode. Cummings drifts atop pond waves, Bradstreet blooms with berries blue, planting seeds of poetry by them, for us, for you. Thomas cries from treetops, Poe rides fast on raven wings, planting seeds of poetry from history's queens and kings. Emerson twined with roses, Thoreau upon the breeze, planting seeds of poetry with legends such as these. Thank you.
All right, can we have Navin Nair come forward, please? And this is Navin Nair. He's his poem was selected as the winner in grades 3 through 5. You're in grade 3 at Sargent, is that right? And the title of his poem is Reflection.
What is a poem? I was asking. How is it different than an essay? I was wondering. Do I know how to write a poem? I was questioning. How do I connect it to our community? I was thinking. Or do I connect it to plants? I was blanking. Growth is a change in good way. No better time to see growth than spring and May. Just like the tiny seed I planted in the garden is now sprouting. The ideas inside me started flowing. I started this process as a rookie. With each version, my poem only got better. I discovered my true self when I wrote this poem. Today I'm standing in front of our community, sharing my journey. As I reflect, I realize this is how you grow a community, by planting seeds of endless possibilities. The only thing stopping us is our imagination. Thank you.
Thank you, Navin. And we have certificates for the winners that Signa is going to be giving away as, thank you, Signa, as they come up. So can I have, let's see, Valentina Lush, can you come forward? Read your poem.
curb. That curb off the sidewalk in my neighborhood, always seen on the way back from school, a bit higher than any other, the landmark of our town. Having all kids bounce on it as if they're on a bounce beam. That curb, with the scars from each shoe, knowing what happened at school, knowing whether you got in a fight or not, knowing if you made a new friend, knowing, just being, without eyes, reading the sign, with touch, that curb, my landmark, that screams, I remember that.
Thank you. So let's see. Now we have two winners who were unfortunately not able to be here. And Graham. Okay.
This is for Eric and for
Yes, that's right. So there are two poems. First is the finalist and evocative imagery winner by Eric Magnuson, grade 3B, Franklin.
The title of this poem is Animals Are Weird. Bats will sleep upside down in trees, and elephants are the only creatures that have 4 knees. Clams start out as boys and become girls later, but crocodiles don't become alligators. For dinner, an aardvark will eat a termite, and cats can see better than humans at night. A hummingbird is the smallest bird, and the only one that can fly backward. Did you know a camel has 3 eyelids and mosquitoes don't prefer to bite kids? A beaver can hold its breath for 5 minutes, and mackerels lay eggs almost without limits. You can hear a lion roar 5 miles away. Most ants are dead by their 16th day. A poor little owl can't move its eye, and if it eats chocolate, a parrot will die. Did you know a walrus can get sunburned? These are a few of the things that I learned. You won't see a cat or a dog with a beard, but animals, if you ask me, are weird. All right, this is finalist Hugo Calling, grade 4, Franklin. And he wrote this poem, My Community. People pick up trash, pretty plants getting watered, smell of fresh cut grass, people shaking hands, kindly waving to their friends, a cheerful planet. No banks getting robbed, no people punching others, angelic bird song. A strong helping hand, a hug for every sorrow, a smile on my face.
Thanks, Graham. And the final poem in the grade 3 through 5 category, I'd like to invite Charles Bohrer up. Charlie's in grade 5 at Sargent, and here's his poem.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlie Bohrer, and I will be reading my poem that I called This Town Was Built on Dreams. This town was built on dreams. When North Andover came to be, the old women with white hair and the old men with white beards, although it might seem weird, they had a dream for a shining city on a hill where we could learn and grow. How far we have yet to go. And so, they planted our seed, gave us what we need, and we shall not stop. We will continue to grow. Maybe someday that shining city on the hill. Only time will tell, but tell it will. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite another finalist in grades 3 through 5, Ben Korick. He has 6 poems about our town.
Never leaving someone out. Our core values show strength that helps us grow. Respecting everyone, even if they are different. Together, we make the world a better place. Helping others in need to help them grow. Always sticking together and looking out for each other. Noticing others when they are down. Doing actions to help each other grow. Our core values make us special. Values that make us grow to be who we are. Everyone once had values that started small and grew really big, representing us in our wonderful schools. Our town is a place of joy. Our town is a place of history. Our town is where flowers bloom, a place where the people come to share their seeds of love, to share their seeds of joy. Oh, this place of joy, our town of great apple trees, our wonderful home. From school to school, the children learn. The trees blossom. We work together to keep our town a beautiful town. Our love for plants universally around the world. Rain or shine, we shall grow. Tomorrow and the day after that, our town will soon grow. Spring, we will admire the trees. Nothing can stop us. No way. Our town is a beautiful one, with trees that sway like one, and trees that look like one. Our town is a beautiful one. Our town is one.
Thank you, Ben. Here you go. And now I'd like to call up the winner in the category kindergarten through grade 2. This is Brennan Jenkins. He's in kindergarten at the early Bradstreet Childhood Center.
Old Shady. Old Shady is a tree in our front yard. He's important to me. We play on him in the hot summer sun. We swing on his branches and have lots of fun. He watches over us through winter, spring, summer, too. Dear Old Shady, we love you.
What a great job. Brennan, I have something for you. Thank you. That was really special. All right, I'd like to invite the high school award winners up. So if you could come forward. Kawan, are you here? Unfortunately, I didn't get an RSVP from Kawan Souza do Carmo. So we are going to have one of the judges, the poet Tom Wiley from Haverhill, read that poem. Actually, Tom, I know that you're active in poetry events in Haverhill, in a bunch of places, especially at Haverhill Public Access TV. And what else do you have going on?
River Bards.
Oh, the Haverhill River Bards, yeah, which is a great poetry group. Yes. There you go. All right.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? I'm honored to be here and honored to read this wonderful poem by Kawan Souza do Carmo. I hope when you see this on video, can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. Kawan, I hope I'm doing justice to your wonderful poem. Can you hear me now? Man, I practically got to kiss his mic. How's that? Okay. The woods that took root They told us to be quiet, to sand our voices down to dust, to fold our names into envelopes never meant to be opened. We were taught to swallow silence like a communion water, as if stillness was the price of belonging. Words fell like dead leaves, brittle, forgotten, whispered through fences, scratched into desk, buried beneath the weight of history. Speak less, blend in, stay small. And so we did. Some of us took root in rocky soil, pushing through cracks in the pavement, growing between the lines of someone else's story. Some of us were carried by the wind, tossed between hands that never held us long enough to call us their own. Some of us withered before we had the chance to bloom, but some seeds were stubborn. They were smuggled into the pages of books, hidden in lullabies sung underneath breath, pressed hand to hand like lanterns. On nights too long for dreaming, sorry. Turn the page there. We heard them in voices steady as roots, a teacher at the front of the room planting belief, you belong here. We felt them in prayers, soft but unshaken, a mother's whispered blessing before dawn. You are meant to grow, and so we did. Between cracks in the pavement, our voices unraveled like vines, climbing past the silence they planted. We carved our stories into the sky, etched them into the walls they built around us, proof that words could bloom, even where they swore nothing would grow. But still, some seeds wait for rain. Some voices are still buried beneath the weight of yesterday. Some words, the ones we needed most, were never spoken at all. So tell me, what will we whisper into the wind? What roots will we lay for those still unheard? What will we say to wake the soil?
It's amazing what great words come from these young people. A lot of special poems this year. That was one. So I'd like to invite our next high school award winner up here, a finalist, Laween Ismail. He has two poems sort of on the same topic, I guess. All right, yeah, actually.
All right, sweet. All right, so I wrote two poems. They've got the same title, but they're under different premises. The first one is about walking around during lunch, and the second one's a little bit more general, so hopefully you could apply it more to your day-to-day. But yeah, so the first one's called Have a Seat. Lunch drives students into their cliques. Each clique has a clique about it that reeks. There is a most potent odor wafting out from the major groups. Take that made by the sweat of the jocks, or that made by the makeup of the cheerleaders. The former's drained from the chomping of lunch, and the latter strained, driven to chatter by the makeup of its bunch. More quiet, yet cliquey and odorous in their own way are the various types of nerds and the sub-cliques at play. While one group may have computers out, programming like wizards, clicking their magic into life, another's frantically scratching pen and erasing eraser till the bits of eraser go up in flames and give off the odor of cooked math. I find all these smells appealing in their own ways. I'm drawn to each, but I try to trick myself into believing that the only smell that matters is that of my burrito. There's more. The jig is up when I realize I can't eat it standing up. I must sit down, so I scour the groups. There is no clique that I can slot into. I'm more of a connoisseur, a chemist of food industry, but no one seems to be the same. I begin my trek. At first, it is a meander, taking further notes of groups of people. Then it turns into a pacing. No tables are left open. A trot befalls me when I see that just about each seat is taken. Full stop. By sheer luck, or I suppose rather, an act of genuine goodwill, I'm tapped on the shoulder by a guy in leave. Have a seat. I'm forced into an island of phone addicts. At first, their roboticness put me off, though with a few bantering jabs, then one thrown at me, I was thrust into the conversation. And I was welcomed into the tribe. The guy who lent me his seat came back. It was time to buy snacks. So my new group and I did a dance to the snack shack and celebrated our conversation and my initiation with ice cream. At the back of my mind lingered the phrase to say, have a seat. Have a seat and be welcome to my world. Tell others to have a seat so that they may be welcome to yours, and so that whatever smell you're giving off does not put them off, but rather draws them in to the sense of self and part of the world that you are. All right, this one's shorter. It's titled Have a Seat, interview version. All people are candidates for the job of my friend. Unbeknownst to them, they are interviewed with each exchange. It doesn't matter if they ram guys over footballs or flip gymnastically in the air over high bars, or if they spit bars as a lyricist or rapper or any other form of art. That includes making spreadsheets or decorating bake sheets, because who wouldn't appreciate a calculator or an oven? And that's not to highlight their utility, but rather my futility. There lies strength in each quirk, and I throw myself at the prospect of understanding quirk origins and their directions, their futures. The business I run is not divine, rather it's a facilitatory facility. Please have a seat. I'm here interviewing you, as you should be there interviewing me. Facilitate my facility so that I may facilitate yours. And if you don't understand what facilitate means, no problem. I'll lend you some English, but you ought to let me don your apron and utilize that oven of yours. And with each having of seats, another exchange, and in the making, a friend.
Thank you, Loween. Our next high school finalist, Evan Bagsy. I pronounced that right?
My poem is titled Jenny's Guitar. August sun makes beads of sweat on the scalps of little boys running by, an array of cars steadily approaching. Jenny sitting on an upturned bucket in the street, a guitar snuggled into her hip. Music permeating the thick air of summer morning, permeating the thick air of summer morning. The kids circle around the girl, kneecaps turning white where they meet tiny chins, eyes turning blue where they meet Jenny's gaze. Blue was Jenny's gaze. Black cars start the procession. Old Gibson lay at the core of it all. The music kissing on deaf ears. Music kissing on dead ears. Wails pierce the night sky. Wails of fingers striking steel strings. Wails coming from Jenny's guitar. Coming from Jenny. Black-clad strangers stand solemnly round the girl. Her music suffocated by the dirt. Her voice strangled by the dirt. Her eyes scratched at by the dirt. Her guitar placed upon the stone. Her tears watering the stone. Her soul smiled at from heaven. Jenny Gibson was smiled at from heaven.
Thanks, Evan. Our next reader is Isabella Raposo, and she was awarded the Growing Our Community Award. She's in grade 10 at North Andover High School.
Hello, my poem today is titled Blossom. The soil of our burdens lays under the boundless sky, plagued by weeds and thorns, till a flower seeps so high. Yet how can one flower, in a world engulfed with hate, overwhelmed with clouds, overcast with gloomy fate? Sunshine that beams with hope lifts petals to bloom. Rain nourishes growth, offered for root to consume. Only alongside each other can we grow,
thriving despite weather and storm. Together we blossom towards the sky, turning which was once cold into warm. Thank you.
And now I'd like to call up one of the adult category winners, finalist Allie Mazzina. And while Allie's coming up, can we have the middle school winners, Tarun, Annabelle, and Inishi, please come up to the stage.
Thank you. My poem is called The Love in Patient Tending. It is such a little effort to plant a seed, so few requirements to meet, to bring this small, unremarkable thing from the darkness of dry dormancy up to the fullness of living in the light. My 5-year-olds could offer you a clinic, just a Dixie cup with a scoop of soil in it, one small finger poke in the damp peat, and a little white bean dropped out of sight. A gentle poem reminds the children of the simple daily steps of seed nurturing. This is the children here. The hidden seed needs all my love, with drops of water from above. A window home is the finest place for my growing seed to see the sun's face. Patient, patient, I watch and wait for my dear green sprout to rise from the dirt. The ingredients of love that generate life, the patient application of water and light, so easy to grasp for the wondering child, so often my learned overthinking elude. And I think that patience is the hardest one. When we plant seeds in our home and our world, a kindness to a stranger, a hug to a friend, no doubt feeling a moment of generous love, we yet preconceive our desired outcome to instantly apprehend the fruit our efforts have borne. Then that self-concerned desire takes hold in our hearts. So we recoil from seed planting when sprouts don't appear. And that small little effort to plant a seed becomes a requirement we fail to meet. Dear family, community, and most of all me, let us be gardeners who plant or sow, pouring our love into tending our seeds, yet free of the need to see them grow. We may utter words of comfort that go unheard, or forgive the injustice of one who still hurts. The results of our planting may remain unknown, yet if no seed gets planted, no seed will grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie. All right, we're moving into the middle school category. I'd like to invite Tarun Nair up as winner of the middle school category. He's in grade 8 at North Andover Middle School.
Thank you. My poem is called Garden of Acumen, Ode to the Teachers. In walkways once filled with blissful delight, wisdom bloomed in untainted light. Hands and hearts that shaped the mind, now severed, faded memories left behind. Patrons of acumen flower youth imagination. Guardians of innocence tend cultivation. Paladins who endeavor to better without weight. Concierges who labor to amend a child's fate. The lessons and tutelage their showers bestow, each drop a lecture, labor, or steady flow. Alas, their memoirs of fortitude disappear. In a stroke of sorrow, winter draws near. The hands that once watered young minds with love and care now desert the garden, leaving it dry and bare. No gentle rain, no guiding light, just wilted leaves, long surrendered to night. Withered saplings reach toward skies once bright, yet search in vain for banished light. Though their wisdom lingers like summer rain, winter dries the soil of the slain. So let us tend what they had grown, and continue to bloom as they would have known. For even when the summer showers are gone, the garden forges its path to dawn. Let the acumen water us once again. Thank you.
Now, next in the middle school category, we have finalist Eden Dunleavy, who was not able to be here today. And so one of the Poet Laureate committee members, Signa Spencer, is going to read his 2 poems that were selected. And this is just to kind of as a reminder to people that when the judges do their evaluation, they're anonymous. So they have no idea, the name of the kid. So there's no connection, no secret inside knowledge of which family they might be reading a poem by. And the judges picked 2 of his poems, which I thought was great. Her poems, I'm sorry, you're right.
The first poem is The Chameleon. Chameleons get me. They change colors as they move, shifting through blues and greens. They sneak through the towering forests like I sneak through tumbling teenagers. Like trees, the chameleon may pass. Nothing turns my way. Not the spider or the kangaroo, not the bird or the possum. Chameleons don't care, and so neither do I. But sometime they must have noticed that maybe they are too green. Maybe I am too dark. It's always been like this. With other creatures I can reason, but it's when I'm with the reptiles of the forest that I'm scared out of my socks. Like clocks ticking in my ears, I hear the sounds of conversation and rich voices like the magic sounds of shedding to a chameleon that it will never make. Chameleons pretend not to care, and so neither do I. But sometime they must have noticed that maybe they are too blue. Maybe I am too light. So I wonder now, where do chameleons fit in? Hanging with the birds is cool, but they compare their talons while I have claws. I tried with the reptiles, but I'll never have scales as beautiful as theirs. So I try to blend in like oil in water, slipping in and out like a chameleon changes its scales. They've realized now that they're thinking the wrong way. Maybe I am just right. Maybe there are other chameleons like me. The second poem is The Walk to Forever. He walks to school. He walks from school. He runs when they've come to take him away. He runs all the way home where his mama hugs him and speaks to him softly. But the men run to the house. They run through the door. They run a bullet through mama's head. He pleads that she'll wake up, that she'll be okay, that she'll come back. He pleads that she'll respond, and she won't ever respond again. The men don't plead. They kick, they kill, they take. So they walk toward the boat, across the dock, below the deck. He walks with holes in his heart and lashes on his back. He waits for a chance to escape. He watches friends and family turn on each other. He watches many dreams and hopes fall away, replaced with an instinct to survive. He watches as no one escapes. He watches the instigators thrown over into the frothing sea. He watches their bodies hit the rocks. He watches blood mix with the ocean and his quiet tears. He keeps walking when his ankles are chained to his neighbor. He gets up when he falls on his face because the slave next to him was walking too fast. He gets up when the captain says there will be food for the first time in weeks. He gets up when the starved boy next to him begins gnawing on his own arm. He gets up when they have arrived at an island where it is said to be safe. He keeps walking past the houses with happy families inside, past the plates full of foods that he will never taste. He walks until his shoes are torn and his feet are slathered in mud. He walks to the fields where he works, where he harvests cotton, where he can feel himself and his new companions fade away. After 3 years, he has made friends. He has become part of a family. He has learned how to survive. He is alive, but he isn't living. When one of his friends doesn't get up the next morning, no one mourns. The slaves quietly wish that they could be with him in the sky, where their bodies could rest, where there is enough food to last a lifetime, where they can at last be reunited with their fallen. So, when he feels himself drifting off one night, he welcomes the dreamless sleep. He welcomes the hope that maybe tomorrow he will walk again with his mama.
Amazing poem. I'd like to invite up Annabelle Manzo. She's in grade 7 at the Pike School.
The seeds we speak. Words can build, words can break. Words can heal the hearts that ache. A whispered hope, a guiding light, a spark that turns the dark to bright. But just as words can lift and mend, they can wound, they can offend. A careless phrase, a thoughtless lie, can linger long and amplify. The weight of words is hard to see, yet they shape who we come to be. So speak with kindness, let warmth shine. Use your voice to heal, not bind. You are strong when strength feels lost. You belong, no matter the cost. Keep on going when times are tough. I believe in you. Those words are enough. And when doubt lingers, heavy and true, there's nothing as warm as I'm proud of you. A simple phrase, yet deep it stays, lifting hearts in countless ways. Even the smallest words we say can plant a seed that finds its way, growing tall, a mighty tree, spreading kindness endlessly. For light expands and joy runs free. A single spark, a wildfire can be. So speak with care, let compassion show. With words we rise, we learn, we grow.
Thank you, Annabelle. I'd like to invite the next finalist from the middle school category, Ineshi Jayasekara. She's in grade 8 at North Andover Middle School.
Before I read, I'd like to introduce my poem. A poem's not done until it's read. With this poem, I wanted to empower writers to share their work with the community. I was very nervous the first time I stood up to recite a poem, but my mom told me a poem is not done until it's read. That stayed with me and kept me going. A poem's not done until it's read. Hide behind the covers of silence. Let oblivion have the final laugh. A painting unseen, never uncovered. The artist's work buried by the artist. Thoughts rampaging through your mind like a herd of gazelle, each trying to break free of the tethers that bound them to your head. A notion you thought would never be understood, pour it out in words you strung together, like weaving an intricate tapestry. A depiction of you and the world you find yourself living in a way no other can imagine. Let it free into the multiverse of minds that surrounds you. Set it free like a bird. Let it perch atop the listener's head. Let it sing to their soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Anishi. And so now we're going to move back to the adult category. I'd like to invite finalist Tereska James up to read her poem. And while Tereska's coming up, I know Christine O'Connor said that she was not able to be here today, but that she was going to have someone read her poem. do we have someone here to read Christine's poem? Oh, and it was going to be Pam Lathrop, who it is. Okay. All right, thank you.
A yearning for today. Yesterday, I closed my heart and mind. I didn't want to commune with you. Yesterday, I covered myself and hid in isolation. Yesterday, I cowered in a cold place with feelings of despair. But, buried deep down in my soul, a yearning to connect gnawed at my very being, ushered its way into my psyche, and like the buried seeds planted in the winter, roots breaking through the soil and bearing new life after a spring thaw, I saw you. I glimpsed the animated chatter of teens walking to school as they stared out my front window, a wave in my direction from the crossing guard ushering them to safety. I caught the loving words of a young couple headed on their daily commute as I took my rubbish to the curb. A quick good morning. I heard the cooing sounds of laughter from a baby being pushed in a stroller on the way to the park as I perched on my porch drinking my morning coffee. A heartfelt smile from the mother. I watched an elderly couple holding hands, steadying each other on their morning walk, a knowing of precious time fleeting with each step. And in those moments between the wanting, needing, and finally breaking free, no longer buried deep down in my soul, you whispered in my ear, community. Today, I open my heart and mind to commune with you. Today, I lay bare at your feet the longing for connection with you. Today, I nestle in your being and am warmed by your love and acceptance. I was drawn nearer to your presence, and we said in unison, community. Thank you.
And so the next finalist in the adult category, the poem was written by Christine O'Connor, who could not be here, and her friend Pam Lathrop is going to read it.
Thank you. A honey-stained spoon. How I love a newly plowed field, the order of rows, a wheatless pass. I love a neatly set table, a clutterless countertop, and a just swept floor. But the real joy is in the mess of plants heavy and bent with fruit and dirt-stained knees and nails. It's in the peeling and chopping, the charred corners of a pot, the warmth spilling from an oven. It's a greasy chin, a loosened belt, the crumbled napkins of a good meal. We crave a clean slate, the fresh scent of spring, a time to start again. But the reward's not there, it's in the pollen-filled air and a honey-stained spoon.
And so our next finalist in the adult category is Gail Henney. And I heard that she may, Gail is here today. Very good. I heard that she was going to be here today. Gail's poem was selected as finalist and evocative imagery. Gail Henney.
I have to say I was out birding this morning and I saw a barred owl. So, woohoo for birds. Okay. This poem came out of an experience of being out on a vacant street at 2:20 a.m. in North Andover. And it's called Searching. Searching. It's cold and windy. At 2 a.m. in the center of an empty road. An owl hoots in the distance. I'm not sure where to look. Gray clouds obscure the sky. Security lights invade the darkness, increasing the challenge. Walking up the silent street, I'm hoping the sky's fabric of silver gray will part, but I've been disappointed before. I remember driving to New York to see the total eclipse of the sun, only to have clouds eat the sun at the last moment. Now, darkness is a cocoon given this time of uncertainty. Winds intensify, clouds dance, revealing an iridescent white crest, a homing beacon. Heart pounding, excitement builds. Expectation has the thrilling taste of imminent victory, calling me to remember when truth was truth. The rising blood moon casts its rust-red glow on our America. Maybe it portends positive change. Thank you.
And now I'd like to call up the final poet in our show today, Maureen Crawford Hentz. And the award here is for growing our community. The theme this year was growing our community, planting seeds of poetry. And the committee saw this year's theme as a chance to speak to and to seek creative input on ways that we come together as a community and how poetry can serve that purpose. Maureen.
This poem is called The Common is a Garden, and it's a love letter to North Andover and to you. Bikes wobbling down the street, doll carriages toddling, Sundays tapping dancing feet, pony rides and sheep shearing. These are the seeds of showing up and participating in community. Flags flapping in the breeze, rainbow and red, white, and blue, Santa and menorah and poetry. These are the stalks of celebration and revelry in community. The plaque at the foot of the tree, the poet's 10th muse, the bronze statue's carol, green memorial wreaths. These are the roots of memory and history of remembering in community. Walking and sitting and picnics and protests and celebrations and contemplations together. This is our garden of gathering, our common, our community.
I think that poem has summarized everything that we were thinking of with the theme we had this year. So I want to thank you all for coming out. This has been a wonderful time, I think, for everybody. Certainly, if I can speak for the committee, and I hope you had a wonderful time today, that your families had a great time, that it spurred both children and adults to think about how they can be creative and how they can share that creativity with one another, how they can come together and learn from one another and hear all the different voices that are part of our town. And that's what we've tried to play a small part in today. So thank you very much for coming out. I want to thank our contest judges, Karen Kline, she's the chair of the Poet Laureate Committee, Dan Spears, who's the Poet Laureate of Haverhill, Massachusetts, among many other exploits that he has going on. Signa Spencer is right here. Graham Jackson, right there. Krista Lamb, who could not be here today. Tom Wiley, one of the judges also, and Linda Faria. So I want to thank all of them for the work that they did. This has been a labor of love to bring this off. And so I'd like to invite Karen Kline up to give a few closing words.
Hi there. I usually don't need one of these. I have an outside voice, I've been told by many people. We made it. We really made it. Some people today spoke about rain, and that's wonderful. We need it, just not right now. And then other people spoke about poems need to be read aloud. I love how she said that. That was so wonderful, because Robert Frost always said that. A poem is never finished unless it's read aloud. So if you're alone, go stand in front of the mirror. If you have a friend, if you have a pug, if you have a West Highland White, whatever you might have, read the poem. And I remember, okay, Robert Frost, we had a program for him last week at the Lawrence Public Library, and it was absolutely spectacular. It's from the Robert Frost Foundation. If you would ever want to become a member of the board of either the Robert Frost Foundation in Lawrence or the North Andover Poet Laureate Committee, please see someone to tell us. We need good new people who love poetry. The other thing is, when Robert Frost read at the JFK inauguration in January 1961, his whole poem blew away. So he had to pull out, at the age of 88, I think he was, a poem from memory. And he did it. And you folks did a great job not losing yours today. But thank you so much for coming, and we will end, as always, and I did forget this once, I just couldn't remember the words. But I think I have it today. To my dear children, this book, by any yet unread, I leave for you when I am dead. That being gone, here you may find what was your living mother's mind. Make use of what I leave in love, and God shall bless you from above. It's simple, it's easy to remember, most times, and it's true. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next year for number 6.
Thank you, Karen. You good? And what Karen forgot to say is those words are from Anne Bradstreet. Although I guess people knew that. Again, thank you for coming out, and have a wonderful afternoon. Oh, and actually, just to reiterate, if you're interested in playing a role in poetry in North Andover, come up and talk to us, because it's not a big job. The big thing is the contest each year. But if you'd like to get involved and help out in whatever way you have time for, that would be great.
Thank you, Mark.
And also, I noted that I keep talking. I'm the past poet laureate. That means that the current job for poet laureate in town is open. So if you'd like to submit your application, the committee is taking applications. Thank you.